Welcome to Bible Quiz. Today we will explore one of the greatest myths in the Bible, the life of Joseph. Joseph, a son of Jacob, went through a journey full of hardships, trials, and intrigues. His story is one of the most memorable parts of the Bible, with its complex situations and message of worship. Join us on this captivating journey to uncover the profound lessons embedded in Joseph's life and his remarkable journey. Through our set of 24 interactive multiple-choice questions, we invite you to gain insights into faith, resilience, and the providence of God. Now let's embark on this enlightening adventure. Let's get started. Question 1. Joseph is the son of Jacob with whom? A. Leah. B. Rachel. C. Bilhah. D. Zilpah. You get 10 seconds. That's B. Rachel. Genesis chapter 35, verse 24. Jacob had 12 sons, the sons of Rachel, Joseph and Benjamin. Joseph was Jacob's 11th oldest son and Rachel's firstborn son. Question 2. Why were Joseph's brothers jealous of him? A. Do good work. B. Be the youngest child. C. Have a special dream. D. Be loved by his father and given a special shirt. You get 10 seconds. That's D. Be loved by his father and given a special shirt. Genesis chapter 37, verses 3 to 4. Israel loved Joseph more than any of his other sons, and he made an ornate robe for him. Father's special affection for Joseph was shown by giving him a special shirt. This fondness caused jealousy and hatred from Joseph's brothers. Question 3. What intensified the resentment towards Joseph from his brothers after he shared his dreams with them? A. He was the youngest. B. He had a special coat. C. Dreaming of his brothers bowing down to him. D. He was favored by their father. You get 10 seconds. That's C. Dreaming of his brothers bowing down to him. Genesis chapter 37, verses 5 to 7. He said to them, "Listen to this dream I had. We were binding sheaves of grain out in the field when suddenly my sheaf rose and stood upright, while your sheaves gathered around mine and bowed down to it." When he told his brothers about this dream, it made them hate him even more because it seemed to suggest that he would have authority and power over them in the future. Question 4. Which of Joseph's dreams caused his father to reprimand him? A. He saw a ladder leading to heaven. B. He and his brothers harvested rice. C. He was in a vineyard with his brothers. D. The sun, moon, and 11 stars bowed before him. You get 10 seconds. That's D. The sun, moon, and 11 stars bowed before him. Genesis chapter 37, verses 9 to 10. Then he had another dream. This time the sun and moon and 11 stars were bowing down to me. His father rebuked him. When Joseph told about the dream he had for his father, Jacob, Joseph's father criticized him because it seemed to imply that both Joseph's parents and brothers would respect and worship him. Question 5. What did the brothers do to Joseph out of jealousy? A. Sold him into slavery. B. Killed him. C. Banished him. D. Took off his jacket. You get 10 seconds. That's A. Sold him into slavery. Genesis chapter 37, verse 28. So when the Midianite merchants came by, his brothers pulled Joseph up out of the cistern and sold him for 20 shekels of silver to the Ishmaelites, who took him to Egypt. Joseph's brothers, jealous, sold him into slavery to the Ishmaelites as they passed by. This caused Joseph to be taken to Egypt, where his life began to change. Remember to hit that subscribe button and join our community to stay updated on all the amazing content we have planned. Question 6. What work did Joseph do in Egypt? A. Farmer. B. Carpenter. C. Herdsman. D. Manager in an officer's house. You get 10 seconds. That's D. Manager in an officer's house. Genesis chapter 39, verse 4. Potiphar put him in charge of his household, and he entrusted to his care everything he owned. This verse describes Potiphar seeing that God was with Joseph and blessed all his works. Therefore, Potiphar trusted and made Joseph manager in his house, entrusting everything to him. Question 7. For what reason was Joseph detained while working at Potiphar's house? A. Escape from Potiphar's house. B. Refused to have sex with the landlady. C. Lost Potiphar's food. D. Help other prisoners escape. You get 10 seconds. That's B. Refused to have sex with the landlady. According to the verses in Genesis chapter 39, verses 7 to 20, it is described that Potiphar's wife tried to woo Joseph, but he refused and fled the situation. Potiphar's wife then informed her husband that Joseph had attacked her, leading to Joseph being charged and detained. Question 8. What job did the jailer give Joseph while he was in prison? A. Cleaning the jail cells. B. Digging a well for water. C. Overseeing other prisoners. D. Cooking meals for the prisoners. You get 10 seconds. That's C. Overseeing other prisoners. Genesis chapter 39, verses 21 to 22. The Lord was with him. He showed him kindness and granted him favor in the eyes of the prison warden. So the warden put Joseph in charge of all those held in the prison. The warden trusted Joseph and entrusted him with the responsibility of all prison affairs. This happened because God was with Joseph and helped him succeed in everything he did. Question 9. Who did Joseph interpret dreams for while in prison? A. Pharaoh's official. B. His brothers. C. Himself. D. The prison warden. You get 10 seconds. That's A, Pharaoh's official. According to passages in Genesis chapter 40, verses 8 to 18, in prison Joseph was used by God to interpret the dreams of two prisoners who were two officials of the Pharaoh. Question 10. Who was the next person Joseph decoded the dream that later influenced his life? A. Potiphar. B. Pharaoh. C. The chief cupbearer. D. The chief baker. You get 10 seconds. That's B, Pharaoh. Genesis chapter 41, verses 14 to 15. Pharaoh sent for Joseph. I have heard it said of you that when you hear a dream, you can interpret it. When the chief butler, heard about the man who interpreted the dream in prison, Pharaoh called Joseph out to help him decode the dream. Question 11. What kind of things appeared in Pharaoh's dream? A. Sheep and rice. B. Horses and rice. C. Cows and rice. D. Cows and sheep. You get 10 seconds. That's C, cows and rice, according to passages in Genesis chapter 41, verses 1 to 22. In Pharaoh's dream, he saw 7 fat cows and 7 skinny cows coming from the Nile, as well as 7 beautiful heads of rice and 7 thin heads of rice. These images represent the 7 years of prosperity, fat cows and beautiful rice, and 7 years of hunger, skinny cows and thin rice, that he will experience. Question 12. After interpreting the dream, what did Joseph advise Pharaoh to do? A. Prepare for battle. B. Build more food warehouses. C. Find refuge in another country. D. Appoint a wise man to govern Egypt. You get 10 seconds. That's D. Appoint a wise man to govern Egypt. Genesis chapter 41 to 33. And now let Pharaoh look for a discerning and wise man, and put him in charge of the land of Egypt. Joseph, after interpreting Pharaoh's dream, gave advice to Pharaoh to appoint a person of intelligence and wisdom to manage the country of Egypt during times of prosperity and prepare for times of famine. Question 13. What position did Pharaoh offer Joseph after he presented his plan? A. Chief magician. B. Ruler of the land of Egypt. C. Chief farmer. D. Chief wine officer. You get 10 seconds. That's B, ruler of the land of Egypt. Genesis chapter 41, verse 41. So Pharaoh said to Joseph, I hereby put you in charge of the whole land of Egypt. After proposing a plan for managing times of prosperity and scarcity, the Pharaoh found Joseph to be very intelligent and wise. Therefore, Pharaoh gave Joseph a high position as ruler of the land of Egypt. Joseph became a man of great power and responsibility, capable of managing the country. Question 14. What did Pharaoh change Joseph's name to? A. Zaphanath-Paneah. B. Potipharah. C. Joseph the Savior. D. Joseph the Wise. You get 10 seconds. That's A. Zaphanath-Paneah. Genesis chapter 41, verse 45. Pharaoh gave Joseph the name Zaphanath-Paneah and gave him Asenath, daughter of Potiphera, priest of On, to be his wife. The Pharaoh changed Joseph's name to Zaphanath-Paneah and gave Asenath, daughter of Potiphera, a priest of the city of On, as his wife. This name change and marriage represent Joseph's rise to power after being appointed ruler of Egypt. Question 15. Why did Joseph name his firstborn son Manasseh? A. Because God granted him great wisdom. B. Because God blessed him in Egypt. C. Because God made him forget all his troubles. D. Because God showed him the path to salvation. You get 10 seconds. That's C, because God made him forget all his troubles. Genesis chapter 41, verse 51. Joseph named his firstborn Manasseh and said, "It is because God has made me forget all my trouble and all my father's household." Joseph named his first son Manasseh, signifying forgetting and escaping his hardships and painful past, and to start a new and prosperous life in Egypt. Question 16. When Joseph's brothers went to Egypt to buy food, what did Joseph do? A. Want to take revenge on them. B. Do not sell food to them. C. Happy and hug his brothers. D. Keep identity secret and tested them. You get 10 seconds. That's D. Keep identities secret and tested them. Genesis chapter 42, verses 7 to 15. As soon as Joseph saw his brothers, he recognized them, but he pretended to be a stranger. And this is how you will be tested. Joseph recognized his brothers when they went to Egypt to buy food, but he pretended to be a stranger. He used this opportunity to test them. Joseph made the condition that they take the youngest brother Benjamin to Egypt to prove their honesty. Question 17. How did Joseph test his brothers when they went to Egypt the second time? A. Ask them to be slaves. B. Place the silver cup in their sack. C. Take them to prison. D. Ask the youngest brother to go to Egypt. You get 10 seconds. That's B. Place the silver cup in their sack. Genesis chapter 44, verse 2. Then put my cup, the silver one, in the mouth of the youngest one's sack, along with the silver for his grain. Joseph was testing his brothers and placed his silver cup in the sack of his youngest brother Benjamin to test whether they could protect him. Question 18. What did Joseph's brothers do when they found the cup in Benjamin's pocket? A. They laugh. B. They are scared. C. They beat Benjamin. D. They return to Egypt to explain. You get 10 seconds. That's D. They return to Egypt to explain. Genesis chapter 44, verses 12 to 13. And the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. At this, they tore their clothes. Then they all loaded their donkeys and returned to the city. When they found the silver cup in Benjamin's sack, they were frightened and disappointed, as demonstrated by tearing their clothes. They then returned to the Egyptian city to face a difficult situation. Question 19. What does Judah recommend to ensure the safety of his brothers? A. Stay as a slave instead Benjamin. B. Leaving Benjamin behind as a slave. C. Offer more silver to Joseph. D. Advise Joseph to forgive. You get 10 seconds. That's A. Stay as a slave instead, Benjamin. Genesis chapter 44, verse 33. Now then, please let your servant remain here as my Lord's slave in place of the boy, and let the boy return with his brothers. Judah is telling Joseph that he is willing to stay and be Joseph's slave instead of letting Benjamin stay. This shows Judah's love and concern for his youngest brother Benjamin. Question 20. How did Joseph react after hearing Judah's suggestion? A. Agree to let Judah stay as a slave. B. Agree to let Benjamin return to Canaan. C. Cry and confess his identity. D. Keep Benjamin and let the remaining brothers return. You get 10 seconds. That's C. Cry and confess his identity. Genesis chapter 45, verse 1. Then Joseph could no longer control. He wept so loudly he said, I am your brother Joseph, the one you sold into Egypt. This sentence describes the touching moment in the story when Joseph could no longer control his emotions. Joseph cried loudly and he revealed his identity to the brothers. Question 21. What did Joseph say after revealing his identity to his brothers? A. I will repay you for what you did to me. B. Go back to your father and never come back here. C. Everything in this world is determined by God's will. D. Now, do not be distressed and do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here. You get 10 seconds. That's D. Now, do not be distressed and do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here. According to the verse in Genesis chapter 45, verse 5, Joseph showed forgiveness and compassion towards his brothers, and he acknowledged that all that had happened was God's will and had been for good for many people. Question 22. What did Pharaoh instruct Joseph to do for his brothers? A. Take them to prison. B. Take their father and family to Egypt. C. Return to Canaan without food. D. Stayed in Egypt and became a slave. You get 10 seconds. That's B. Take their father and family to Egypt. Genesis chapter 45, verses 17 to 18. Pharaoh said to Joseph, Tell your brothers, do this. Load your animals and return to the land of Canaan, and bring your father and your families back to me. Pharaoh tells Joseph to instruct his brothers to return to the land of Canaan, bring their father and their entire families back to Egypt. demonstration of Pharaoh's generosity and willingness to provide for Joseph's family in Egypt. It signifies the reconciliation and reunion of Joseph's family. Question 23. Where did Joseph's father and brothers settle when they came to Egypt? A. Goshen. B. Canaan. C. Memphis. D. Thebes. You get 10 seconds. That's A. Goshen. Genesis chapter 47 verses 5 to 6. Pharaoh said to Joseph, "And the land of Egypt is before you. Settle your father and your brothers in the best part of the land. Let them live in Goshen." Pharaoh suggested that Joseph should settle his family in Goshen, a land within Egyptian territory considered best and suitable for their life. Emphasizes Pharaoh's positive feelings and support for Joseph and his family. Question 24. How is Joseph described in his father's final blessing? A. A skilled craftsman and builder. B. A warrior and conqueror. C. An arrogant. D. A humble and compassionate leader. You get 10 seconds. That's D. A humble and compassionate leader. According to the verses in Genesis chapter 49, verses 22 to 26, Jacob blesses Joseph, who is described as a fruitful vine, a strong and steadfast individual receiving blessings from the Almighty. It also shows him as a leader who remains steadfast and compassionate even in the face of adversity. Oh, wow. Thank you for taking this meaningful journey through the life of Joseph in the Bible with us. As we have seen, Joseph's life is an example of patience, faith, and tolerance in the face of difficulties. We hope that you learned something from his story and from this quiz. The Bible always provides valuable lessons for our lives. If you feel this examination is meaningful and valuable, please share it with others so that they too may have the opportunity to participate in this journey of worship. Also, don't hesitate to send your feedback or questions, and we'll be happy to continue sharing deeper Bible messages in the future. Keep studying and learning about God's Word, and we will meet again in the next tests. May you always be blessed in your spiritual journey.